today we're going to be doing another Dollar Tree project. So we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to be using one of these little willow, these are the Willow Wreaths. Now usually I can only find this. This is a, it doesn't say, let's see. This is a 9-inch, but every once in a while I can find the larger ones. And this one is about a 12-inch. So you're going to need one of these. And I saved some of these from my last project. So these are just stems from flowers. You're going to need a couple of these. Okay, I'm going to use the smaller one just because I know it's a lot more common to find these this size. But I can also just kind of give you an idea of what it looks like when you use this size. The other thing you're going to need is some flowers. So I have a kind of a variety of different flowers, and what we're going to do is we're going to make some fairies, and we're going to put them on this wreath and make a little fairy wreath. The other thing I have is some moss. So it's a really cute thing to do, to put a little moss on there and put the fairies on there so that it kind of looks like they're in their natural habitat. Okay, so some of the other things we're going to need is something to cover the fairy's legs and arms. And there's a few different options that you have. You can use baker's twine. You can find this at the Dollar Tree. They have several different colors. You can use this jute twine, so you can get it in either the natural or the green, which I will show you what the green looks like because I think that's a little bit more realistic. You could also use pipe cleaners. So if you're not able to find anything like that, you can use pipe cleaners. If you have some embroidery string, you can use that. You can use yarn. It really just depends on what you have. If you already have things at home, then you wouldn't even have to go to the Dollar Tree and get something. So it really just depends on what you have in your house. And so I have kind of a variety of flowers, and this is going to be a lot of fun. So I will move the camera down and we'll get started. An optional item that you can use is some ribbon. Okay, so let's get started. Why does it still look? There. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the stem from the last project I did, and I actually got this idea from Serendipity's Closet. I love to make these, but I've never thought of making them with the leftover stems. I've always used wire, so I thought it was a pretty great idea, so we're going to use her idea. So what you do is you take your stem and you pull one piece up. Okay, those are going to be her arms. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I am going to do just a little bit different. I'm actually going to put both legs. I'm going to put two pieces together to make the legs. Okay? So you're not going to need all of this length. So you can take it and bend it in half like this, and that kind of helps strengthen it. Because there is wire in here, I thought this was a really very smart idea. She does a lot of Dollar Tree wreaths, so if you, projects I should say. So if you've never seen her before, I would suggest you go over there and check her out. Okay, and so the last thing I have are just some of the floral foam little tiny balls. And this is going to be our head. Okay, so I want to figure out about how long I want her body to be. And then I'm going to cut off the stem that I don't need. Okay, so this part right here is going to be her body. So there we go. So I just stuck her head on. Okay, so that's the basic outline of our little fairy. Okay, so what you're going to do, and I wanted to give you this as an alternative, that Dollar Tree has this liquid adhesive that you can use. You can also use this to attach your string or whatever it is that you're using, instead of having to use hot glue, because it is easy to get yourself when you're working with something this small. So I wanted to give you that as an option. Okay, let's have to find where the beginning of this is. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to take this jute. Let's see if and I'm going to start it right in the body. I'm just going to put a little glue there, a little hot glue, and I'm going to carefully put this on. And then I'm just going to twist it around and around and around. And I'm actually going to push it a little bit as I twist it. So I'm going to do the arms first. Okay. And so I'm making sure that I cover it pretty well, because we don't want to see the wire behind it. Okay. Okay, so this part will take a little bit, and I will speed through some of this. Okay. You can also hold it and spin it, whatever is easier for you. Okay. Alright, so when I get to the end, I like to put another little dab of glue on there. That way it's not going to come off the end. And then I will go back across, just making sure that nothing is showing. Now, of course, you don't have to make it as thick as I do. I just like this because then you really can't see it. Okay. And then what I do is I cross over and put a little glue on just to get this second one started. So I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to push this down a little bit more because I don't want it to stick out a lot. Oops. So when we get to the end, I'm going to put another little dab of glue on there. Okay. And then start back. Now this, of course, this jute is a little bit larger than if you were to use something like this basket twine. It just depends on what you want to use. Okay, So now I've gotten back to the center. I'm just going to put some around her body. So I'm just going to kind of alternate back and forth. And I'm going to go in between the legs a little bit so I can start to separate those. Okay, like this. And then I'm going to go up a little bit. A little bit of glue here. Okay, so just keep going. And then back down. And you just need to go around the body until you can't see it. Until you can't see what it is you were working with. Okay. There we go. Okay. So now we've gotten the arms and the body done. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put just a little bit tiny more glue on this side. And I'm going to start working on this leg set. So I'm just going in between. I'm doing the exact same thing. So this is longer than I need. So when we get towards the bottom, I will cut some of it off. But you can also keep it a little bit longer, and you can kind of curve it a little bit to give her legs. I mean feet. So anything that you can think of, you can do. Okay? Push that up a little bit. There we go. No rules. This is just your own creativity. It's just a fun little project to do. Okay. Now you can also use different pieces for the head. You can actually order little tiny heads for these. But since we're doing everything actually from the Dollar Tree, I wanted to just give you an option. And when you feel like you have gone far enough at the bottom, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to bend it back a little bit. I'm going to leave it there while I am still working. Okay? Now you can keep this one continuous piece, or you can cut it off, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to glue down here because I don't want the legs to be too thick. So I'm just putting a little glue there. Kind of running a few pieces through it. Okay. Trim it off. Now I'm just going to push this down. There we go. It does work a little better if you're using glue that's not super hot. Just because you don't want to glue yourself. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start my other piece. Same way. I'm just going to put some glue right up here. And just ignore my dogs in the background. Okay, so I'm just going to do the same thing. Twist it around. Push it up. Okay. So I'm only going to need one roll of this twine. because one roll really goes a long way. So that's what's great about this. Using the twine, you just don't need to have as much. And it comes 3 in a pack. So okay, so once I get most of the second leg done, I'm going to stop and glue it off because I want to get my flower piece in here before I get too much farther and I can't get it on. So what you're going to do is you're going to find a flower that you like and you're going to take it apart. So just pull it off. You should be able to pull it apart because this is going to make up her little dress. So I just pull it apart like this. Okay. Just like that. And you can use a couple different ones. So this part is just strictly up to what you like. There are no rules. Okay. Alright, and what I will do is I will fold it over. So let's put these two together. I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to make a little slit in it. Okay. Like that. Oops. Okay. And I keep going on the leg. Let's see. Probably need, alright, about that much maybe. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this off right here. Alright. Okay, so we'll just keep going on the legs once we have the flowers figured out. Okay, so now I've determined the size of the leg. I think I'm pretty comfortable with these. Okay. I'll put a little bit more glue here. Okay. Alright. I'm going to just trim this off. Okay, so now I have the body ready. Okay, so let's try this flower. I think that was just too small. There we go. Okay. Some of these flowers are a little bit too small to do this with. So you kind of have to watch. All right. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to put the little skirt on. Just kind of put it on. There we go. Oh, that's so cute. So there's the first part. And let's see. Could probably do one of these. You know, you can do any color that you want. So a little slip. And you can put this on before you wrap, but I just find that these stay on a little bit better if I wrap it and then put these on. Because otherwise I'm fighting with them while I'm trying to wrap. So I don't mind kind of having to push it up a little bit. Like that. Okay, let's see. I think we could probably do one of these. And then we're going to end with a large one. Okay. Here we go. Just kind of have to work it up. Here we go. All right. So now we're ready for the large ones. Let's see which ones. So here it is. Okay. Okay, so now that we've gotten these 3 little cute ones on, we're going to put the big ones on. So we already cut little slits in these. Okay. So I'm just going to take them together. There's where I put my slit in. I'm just going to put my legs together. Slide it right through. Okay. Now. So now what she should look like is she has a little dress. This is her little bodice here. Okay, see? Isn't that cute? Okay, so now we're going to deal with the head. Move that aside. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of the natural color for the head. Now, if you can find something at the Dollar Tree that is the like a large round object that you can use, I would suggest that you go ahead and use it. But I am just going to use this, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stack the jute and start moving it up. So I'm just going to cover it, okay? And occasionally I'll just put a little glue. Now with the styrofoam, you want to be careful that you don't put too much because it will eat right through it. Okay. Now of course you can go out and buy the ones that already made for these and have a face, but I wanted to use only items that I could find in the Dollar Tree, and of course I did items that are easy to find in the Dollar Tree. Okay, so this, you can also use this, but you want to be careful whatever glue you use, because a lot of glues will eat through styrofoam. So you have to really just kind of pay attention and see if it says that you can use it with styrofoam. Otherwise, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up eating right through it and you're going to have difficulty. So you just keep twisting it around. You definitely want to cover. You could also paint these. So we're going to put something on her head that's going to cover a lot of this, but I want to make sure that you cannot see the styrofoam itself, so I'm just going to go ahead and cover this whole piece. Okay. You just want to keep making sure that you have it stacked on top of each other. Okay. And you want to use a glue gun that doesn't get too hot. When you're working with styrofoam, it's very important that you don't use a glue gun that will get too hot, because it will immediately melt right on top of what you're working on. Okay? So just keep going around. Fill in any holes. It will build on top of each other. Okay? Okay. And once you get to the top part, you just want to kind of start filling in. Just making little circles. Putting glue occasionally. Okay. I'm not really looking for perfection on the top because I am going to put something up here. Okay. Okay. So now I'm just going to cut some off, and I'm just going to just kind of do it in a circle around here. And again, I'm not looking for perfection on the top of the head, because you're not going to see this part. I just want to make sure that if something is seen through there, it's not going to look like styrofoam. Okay. So there we go. Now we have a little head. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a little glue on the body and push up the bodice just a tiny bit. So it's kind of glued there. And I'm going to start putting some glue in between my flowers here. Okay. Because I don't want them to come off. So I will glue around the little flower petals. Okay. Just some little pieces here and there. There we go. Alright, now so there's several things that you can do for the top. And what you're really going to do is you're going to cover it with a flower. Okay. So this is the front. So you're essentially making a little cap. Just put a little bit of glue on the top. Just like that. Okay. That's going to cover the top piece. You can put a couple. You can also take a center and put it up there to kind of cover. And I'm actually just going to push this right through. There we go, like that. So now it looks like she has a little hat. Okay. Alright, so the next thing that our fairy needs is she needs some wings. So you just want to find some of your flowers that look like they would make good wings. So let's see. We'll try out a couple different ones. Oh, this one's really cute. I like that. Okay. So let's see. Do we have any more of that flower? I think we do. Yes. Right here. Okay. So I'm going to take another one apart so that I can get to that flower. Well, let's see which one's better. This one? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put some glue inside here like that. And I'm going to fold it over. And I'm going to give it a minute to set. And I'm going to grab another one. Okay. So I'm using the smaller flower. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to glue on the inside. And then fold over. Just like that. So while those are setting, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make her some hair. So I'm actually going to be using the baker's twine for that. Okay. And I'm going to use I'm going to use the pink and I'm going to use the purple. Because I like both of them. Hold on, let me shut my door. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make her hair. What I do is I take two pieces like this, and I'm just going to wrap it around something. So I'm just going to use a piece of cardboard that I have. Let's see, this is about 4 inches. I'm just going to start it at the top, and I'm just going to twist it around like this. And I want a pretty good amount. I'm probably not going to need more than 2 rolls though. Okay. Alright, that's probably good. Maybe a little bit more. So you can add as much as you want. I think we'll go ahead and just use the rest of these rolls, and we want to leave a little bit so that we can tie it all together. Okay, so about right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to go underneath this whole stack. And I'm going to tie it at the top, like that, okay? Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to slip it in the bottom. cut it off. There we go. Okay. So now I want to make sure that I don't lose the center. Okay. So I'm going to wrap this around a couple times, and then I'm going to take my two pieces and separate them and just tie it off. And of course, you can have as much or as little hair as you'd like. Now I'll just trim this off. Okay. So now we have some hair. We have a lot of hair. So you don't have to have as much hair as I have, but okay, so we're going to go to the back, and I'm going to take this hair and I'm going to pull this flower up, and I'm going to glue this hair underneath here. Okay. So right here. You can also make the hair and put it under before you put your flower. It really just depends on how you want it to look. Okay. You can put some hair around the front, like this. Okay. And what I'll do is I will put some glue around the sides and take a little bit of this hair and glue it down. There we go. And this side. Okay. You want it to look like hair. Okay, there we go. Okay. So now we can take our wings. Our wings are ready. Just move our hair aside here. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these wings. We're going to put glue on the wings, just right along the wing, and we're going to put it right down in the back. There we go. Same thing on the other side. So of course they're going in opposite directions. There we go. And then you can put the hair back over it. Okay. So you want to make sure you can see the wings poking out. So put a little bit of the hair in the front, a little in the back. And there we go. We have a little fairy. Now of course you can make a little eyes and a mouth here, but it's kind of up to you. Now I'm going to take these legs, I'm going to bend them back, and I'm going to trim them off. Okay. There we go. All right. She has a lot of hair. She probably has more hair than she needs. But that's okay. All right. So now what we can do is we can take our wreath and we can bend her. And one thing I like to do is I like to take the two arms and put them together. Just kind of bend the arms in. put them together. And then you can glue it to a little flower stem or something along these lines to try to keep the arms together. Okay. All right, and we have a fairy, and we can put her right in to the wreath like this. Okay, so what I generally like to do is I like to take my wreath and put her inside it. Okay, and then just kind of arrange her like this. And I like to either glue her in or tie her in. Okay, like that. And then what you can do is you can take a little of the moss and you can glue it in here like this so that it looks like she's kind of you can take a little bit of this and you can glue it down here. Okay. Just kind of glue it right on. Like that. And then it looks like she is sitting near the grass. Just put a little bit more right here, like this. You can also put some flowers in here. So I would do smaller flowers, maybe like some of these. So let's glue this in. Okay. There we go. Give her a little grass base. Okay. Alright. Sticking to my hand. Okay. Then I would want to take some small, delicate flowers. Just cut some off. And you can put some flowers in here. Like this. So I wouldn't want to put anything large. For one, the base is small, and you want something that really kind of goes along with your fairy. So you can just kind of stack your flowers in here. Like this. Kind of weave them in. You can glue them in once you figure out where you want them to go. Like this. And there we go. We have a little fairy wreath. So I think these are really fun to make. These would be really great for a little girl's room. And this would be a really fun project to do with your children. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed this. I think these are a lot of fun to make. And you can be really creative with them. So make sure you let me know what you thought. and I'll be back with more soon. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.